Good morning. Welcome back, everyone. We are doing a follow-up video now on our favorite altcoin, Ripple. XRP is the ticker symbol. If you haven't seen the video on this on the past, please feel free to search our YouTube channel for it, and feel free to get that last video because all these doodles will make sense from the last video, and I will explain everything moving forward. We are going to do a little bit of a different format. We're going to try to do a little bit of fundamental analysis before we do the technical analysis. So I'm going to just show you what's going on in the world and what to expect moving forward, and then we'll go into the chart and dig deep. So quickly. Right now, the whole U.S. pre-market is dipping a little bit because the whole world is weighing on if Trump is going to attack Iran or not. That is going to put a big uncertainty factor into the traders' heads, and that will probably create a risk-off mentality where people will book profits and stay in cash until we get some clarity and certainty before they put risk on the markets again. Now, last week after the Fed did not cut, I said that, hey, we should be looking for a pullback anyway. So a little bit of pullback, and basically we're setting local tops on gold and stocks and everything. So if all of that plays out, like I said, then we will basically see the market pull back in a way to punish the Fed, to allow the Fed to cut, to help the markets bleeding out situation. You'll see how that comes. Um, about this, Trump is the only president who has not had a war preside over his term. For him to get involved in this is kind of a very big deal. There's a lot of whisper of him trying to get a third term as president. I mean, I don't know how he would go about something like that without a martial law situation. So just be aware that there's a lot of stuff going on in the background, and it's his midterm coming up. So it's time for him to prove that he's an effective president by uh, demonstrating some results. So let's see how that plays out. Aside from all that, guys, feel free to rewatch the last video I did. I go over what I expect the market to do due to the rates not being cut. I expect punishment. I expect blood. I expect grinding the lows until the Fed does cut, and more than likely it'll be like in December, and it will be like a full percentage cut. The Fed has done this playbook many times before. Go look at the Greek crisis, go look at dot-com bubble, go look at all the other problems that we've had. We've always had like a first 1% cut when we start the easing cycle, and then we go to zero, and then we figure out what we're going to do from there. Switzerland, yeah, I think yesterday just cut to zero, and they plan on going to negative if necessary because they have literally no inflation. So how are the world going to help their global currencies? They're doing these cuts. Well, eventually the dollar becomes too strong, and then the dollar will have to cut to keep in pace with the rest of the world. Okay, the dollar cannot be the strongest currency domestically because it will make our exports impossible to get out of our country, and then we already have a trade surplus debt. It will be bigger. So these are all things that you have to think about a few steps ahead. Be aware, be prepared. Okay, so that's the fundamental. Technical analysis. We're looking at XRP on a monthly. Feel free to go look back at our previous videos. On the monthly, you can see we've had a huge bearish engulfing, another wick, plenty of attempts to try to get to the upside, but continually proving in a triangle, descending triangle consolidation pattern that it wants to find either support here around 217, 220, or this is where it's gonna basically do the next leg down and look for liquidity. One good thing I can say is as we're doing this and we're trying to sell off, you have bullish divergence starting, as in the volume of the sellers is slowing down right here at that 220 level. Now, it's very ironic that that's the level that they're trying to slow down at, because right now, if we don't open and close the daily above 220, we will start a downtrend to go test into the support of 175. Okay, and this is something that we've already knew and we've already predicted and we've already discussed in our previous videos. So feel free to go in our previous video, and we started doing this kind of stuff where we like have exact rules as to what we expect moving. And until the weekly closes above 345 and gets to these one-to-one extensions, we are in the sad area where the weekly closes under 261. Okay, we have continually closed the weekly under 261, and as long as you're closing under 261, you are at risk of a retest of 220, which we are basically at right now, and a 161, which is the weekly support. 166, sorry, 166. The month or the daily support is at 150. So if we keep tickling around here and under the one or $2.20 level. So today's daily close, if it's under 220, I'm looking for us to start impulsing towards 166 to 150 to find support, okay, in this area. And then once we have confirmed support and grab the liquidity, looking for that short squeeze expansion. Until this occurs, we're going sideways here. Even if we get to the upside from here, even if we get a push to the upside from from 217, I'm finding major resistance at 226 all the way to 250, 260. And we've crossed the a purple line to the downside. More than likely, it's looking for liquidity and a test of support. Test of support would be like all the way over here. Where is this? Test of support is all the way over here, like 185, 180. As per the fib, if you're doing a descending channel, here's your white descending channel. Bottom is around 180. Basically, everything is in this little tip of the triangle. We've already drew this. We already know it's coming. We know it's happening. You have like a good odds of the liquidity being grabbed here, but you do have a bullish divergence, like I showed you, coming up into the 240 level and then selling off would also be a possibility because you're forming a little head and shoulder right here. You were doing an inverse head and shoulder in a large head and shoulder, and this inverse head and shoulder did not get enough oomph. It did not hit its measured move. It stopped right here at the fib at 260, which is what we expected. We wanted to open above 260 for us to go into the 345 area. Since we closed underneath 260, we went to 220 to 166. This is not me like making up magic freaking numbers and pulling them out of my butt. No, this was all rewritten. We've been watching Ripple for how many weeks? Do not even play like we did not know and predict this. It was all written in text. Come on. So here is your last saving grace. You are doing a little bit of higher low situation with that bullish divergence. If you're going to play out, great. But unless you're opening and closing above 220, more than likely it's a shorting opportunity for you to take to the downside all the way to like 150, 175 area. Aside from that, guys, I mean, there's nothing much more to discuss. We've already analyzed this at nauseum. It doesn't look healthy. I'm looking for the same thing it's done over here and all the other times. When you start doing this dance after a big impulse above the yellow EMA and you come back into it, all you're doing is just grinding and making a big triangle, big head and shoulder to go find support. Support. Your supports are all the way over here. Now, do I want Ripple to go all the way to 85, 86 cents? Hell no. I would rather it find support like over here, like 175, 176, make a higher low above this, and then make the next extension above this level into the above 220 into 345 so we can get to 5, 6, and whatnot. But if we can't get above 220, we're not getting to 260, and then we're gonna have to look at 166 to 150 to 115. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Like the rules are clear. Until you get a close above those levels and we're under 220, the only path is down into those lower levels to find support, grab liquidity, and then do a launch to the upside. All right. So that's all I have for you guys today. If you have any questions or concerns, leave it in the comment section below. If you want to trade with me live, feel free to join the Discord server. Link to the servers in the description of this video below, alongside all the other affiliate services that I use and recommend that helps the channel grow. Wish you the best. I'm going to actually snap this picture so I can share it to you guys. All right. Should I do this one? That's good enough. Okay. Yeah. All right. Have a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.